Hey, what's up? I'm back. It's time to review some more comic books. Except this time we're only reviewing one issue, but it's a big issue. It's called Batman Damned, Book 2! Let's get it! This book is in a really interesting place. It's the first in the new Black Label line of comics, and it shows promise. I enjoy this book, these first two issues. We're just talking about issue 2 here, but obviously we're going to touch on what came before it. It's just strange to me because it is the first Black Label book, but it's not like doing anything too gratuitous to show you that, oh, this is for mature audiences, it's a Black Label book. There is stuff in here that's very mature, or, you know, like, you wouldn't see it in a normal comic, like the Bat Dick in issue 1, even though that was censored shortly after it went to print. But in this issue, we get, like, similar things, which I have not heard any controversy about, but they still happen. Basically, Harley Quinn almost rapes Batman, and you see, like, her, I don't understand why she has, like autopsy scars. I guess she died and came back to life in this universe at some point. I'm sure that happened in the main DC universe, but she had an autopsy done on her because she has those scars. But yeah, apparently Harley Quinn likes to rape people these days. That's her new thing. It doesn't happen, which is, like, Batman pushes her off before it happens, which is probably why there's no, like, headlines about, oh, DC Black Label's doing it again! Last issue Bat Dick, this issue Bat Rape. Either way, that whole scene and any other of the more edgy, Black Label, mature stuff going on in this book doesn't feel over the top. It's not gratuitous, like I said. It fits in with the story and it fits in with the tone. I think a huge part of this not feeling like it's just edgy for the sake of edgy is in the presentation, namely the art. The art here is gorgeous. It's this gritty, sort of washed out, just very punchy art style that it really sells the tone that they're trying to go for in this book, and personally I really like it. Another part of the presentation that helps is the lettering, which is really interesting, and I think that lettering should be played more like this in other comics. It constantly is switching between traditional comic bubbles when characters are talking and just plain text that is pasted onto the page for the narrator, who I think is Constantine, but I don't, it's been a while since I read the first issue, so I don't remember if that was confirmed in that issue or not. This book is bi-monthly, so it's been like 2 months since the last issue came out. Probably longer than that since I actually read it, because I'm always behind on comics. Another good example of this type of presentation is in Batman Noel, which has a similar art style, a similar tone, and a similar presentation in the lettering. So I guess it's been done before. I don't know if there's a similar or a same creative team or a similar creative team happening. If there is, that makes sense. If not, also cool. I don't know. As far as the plot goes, it's interesting. I don't know if I'm quite following, but I think I am. There's a lot of subtext and subtlety going on in this story. From what I understand, the Joker and Batman were in, like, a final confrontation, and the Joker died mysteriously. And it seems like there is some form of magical being who is fucking with Batman, trying to make him believe that he murdered the Joker, but in all honesty, the magical being probably just killed the Joker himself, and a lot of, like, magic shit is coming into Batman's life because of this. In this issue specifically, we see Constantine, Batman, and Deadman go confront Etrigan, who is masquerading as just some rap dude in a nightclub. And it's a really cool scene where he's doing a cool rap, and then Batman comes in and just sort of stands there, and there's a bunch of guns being thrown around. It's neat. Read the comic. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Harley Quinn shows up dressed as the Joker, just trying to be the Joker, but she's all, like, broken, and Batman's trying to get through to her, but she's Harley Quinn and is crazy, so that doesn't go too well. And, you know, you get that whole rape scene that I mentioned, but it's very, very interesting. The plot is like bordering on where, like, when Tom King is at his worst, where things are just happening and you're like, what the fuck, what's going on? Like, stop smelling your own farts. It's bordering on that, but it's not quite there. It's still good. I think I'm following. If I'm not, oh well, at least it's pretty. There's also a lot of intercut childhood flashbacks to what I think is this universe's or this continuity's version of Bruce Wayne's childhood. it could just be that the Enchantress, who is fucking with Batman to some extent here, is just messing with Bruce Wayne's childhood and is making him believe that, you know, like Thomas Wayne left them and did all these bad things. But also it might just be that is this universe's, like, that's the childhood that Bruce Wayne had in this universe. I don't know. They're interesting scenes. They're good. All around, I'm just pleasantly surprised with this book in general. It is not super gory and violent and, like, overly sexual, like would be expected from this Black Label, where it's just, here's a label where we're just gonna tell stories that are too much for you little kids out there. It seems like this book was pitched, not ordered, and I think that's like what Black Label was for. Like, they created Black Label for stories like this. They didn't create Black Label to reach a new audience. A mature audience is already reading comics. It's just they want a hard R rating on certain comic books so that they don't get in trouble for telling those stories to kids, because comics aren't for kids in general. But when you have stuff like this, and when you have a story that you want to tell that is a little more on the edgy side, you might want to make it clear that it's not for, like, 8-year-olds. Just solid stuff. As far as I know, this book ends at issue 3, or book 3. They're not, like, normal-sized issues. They're each, like, 60 pages each. So that's why it's bi-monthly. It comes out every 2 months? Every other month? I hate bi-monthly and bi-weekly. Those terms, they all mean the same thing, but not the same thing. It's annoying. Anyway, it's just a good book. Go buy it. Or don't. I'll see you in 2 days, hopefully.